What's up guys, it's Drac and it's time for another Top 5 Friday. It seemed like as good a time as any to kind of revitalize this. I like doing the Top 5 Fridays, they are a ton of fun. And since really we just have a bunch of stuff to talk about right now, and one of the most exciting things that can happen in the current climate for Nerf is people can design and print. A lot of us are using printers for good right now, but in the off time some people are still printing blasters and prototyping new stuff, and that's very, very exciting. So I want to do a Top 5 video for the Top 5 3D printed blasters running around in 2020. In order for it to be fair and to expose as many new designs as possible, I want to go ahead and do just a quick recap of the last top 5, kind of a where are they now sort of situation. So without any further ado, let's launch into that, and then we'll get into the modern top 5. Real quick, for those of you that might not be aware, the previous top 5 list was... starting at the bottom with the Pigeon. The Pigeon has not slowed down. It is still probably the premier nano flywheel, micro flywheel blaster running around out there. It's currently on, I think it's Mark 8 revision. It has blowback. It has a lot of features that, while they're not personally competitive for me, are definitely trying to design around and get that sort of role-play-esque action out of it. People have made them high FPS. People have made them low FPS. It's still the premier micro flywheel mag-fed sort of sidearm de jour, and I think that it's going really great. Mr. Heath Pants runs a Facebook group that supports not only his platforms, particularly the Pigeon, but also just a litany of other very small, like less than 10 made 3D printed pistols. Might be worth poking around if you're into Facebook Nerf. There's definitely a lot of cool one-offs there. I thoroughly enjoy seeing it on my newsfeed. Onto the Chimera. While Northeast Designs took a pretty long hibernation for the sake of his mental health, I am pleased to report that he is back at it like a bad habit with some pretty interesting and novel new designs. He has his Venturi pistol, which is not on my top 5 list, but is very cool in its own right, and recently he started working on the Chimera again with a lot of new tune-ups. My personal model definitely needs to go in for a tune-up, either in my workshop or in his. There are a few different parts and tweaks that have been made to it. In particular, I'd like to make mine Talon dedicated at this point in time, but given that there were some less scrupulous individuals taking advantage of his designs during his hibernation, it's really nice to have him back at it in true form with his own website, which you guys can check out here if you're interested. I can't say explicitly what he has in stock at the time of this video, but I am thrilled to report that he is selling only completed projects on his website, which is definitely helping him kind of keep on top of his contract work, and I'm thrilled that it's working out well for him. You go, Ben. As for the Project FDL crew, after making a couple hundred blasters, they decided to shutter the business, largely in part due to, I think, supply chain issues with motors. After closing down shop, they've remained relatively active in social media on a variety of different platforms, but if you just really need to scratch that brushless itch, there's a ton of really exciting stuff going on, particularly over at Project Ultra Strife. I think that they've got some very exciting things going on in injection molded shells and a fully 3D printed blaster of their very own with a touchscreen kind of computer thingy going on. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I'm really excited because I like the overall shell and profile of it. On a high note, there are whispers and echoes that Project FDL will be returning to us soon, so if you've been waiting a long time to get your hands on one, hopefully that becomes available post-apocalypse. The Jupiter, a collaboration with Luke and Tarek, is just as fantastic today as it was back when we made the video. Luke has sold hundreds more of these since, both in kit form and fully blaster, ready to go out of the box. I don't want to get redundant about it, but it's still a micro flywheel blaster for rival that packs a punch and delivers the hits. It's ultra sweet, and it's available on his website when he's not printing masks these days. So very, very cool. It goes in and out of stock because frankly it's so popular it sells out rather quickly, and I know that a lot of work goes into producing them. And so while all of that's really cool, I know that Out of Darts is also working on a dedicated proton pack rig to go with your Jupiter, as well as a kind of mountable version of the Jupiter that he calls Mount Olympus. Mountable. How cool is that? I think I just got it, Luke. And then finally, the man who needs no introduction, Captain Slug, has blossomed his Caliburn into as many different variants and varieties as there are stars in the sky. There's now a U-line variant that is structurally more sound, but in my opinion is aesthetically far less pleasing, as well as half a dozen different people making their own versions and flavors and varieties, which will make its way onto our 2020 list. But a lot of crazy exciting stuff. At this point, the Caliburn has become almost synonymous with what you want a 3D printed blaster to do. It's very variable, it's dynamic, it's exciting, it's high performance, it's custom to you most of the time, whether you build it yourself or get somebody else to build you a bespoke version. I've even thrown my own hat into the ring recently. So lots of different varieties and flavors of it. It's by far the most popular 3D printed blaster around, and it shows no signs of slowing down. Alright guys, so with that out of the way, let's launch into the modern list. In a great twist of irony, our honorable mention, or number 6 on the list, also comes from the Sunny Island, and while it's not from Hing, it is from my good buddy Gavin Fuzzy. The only reason this isn't super duper high on the list is because it is still reliant on a bit of Hasbro DNA in the form of the plunger system and grip assembly, but the way that the Spamf mates into it flawlessly, how clean and easy it is to make them, very, very cool, very dynamic, both in high performance form and in a slightly softer shooting version, is just the absolute coolest. So this converts a regular Nerf pistol that's particularly not exciting into a mag-fed thing that delivers the hits. Personally, I adore the Spamf to the degree that I absolutely had to buy the license from Gavin so that I could make my own versions in-house. It's just a tremendous design. It's so clean, so easy to work with, and gives you a lot of different options in terms of how much power you actively want to get out of this compact package. And interestingly enough, it's started to inspire other people to start melding Hasbro shells into dynamic little 3D printed hybrids. So with that said, it's not a fully 3D printed blaster, so it doesn't make the cut for this specific flavor of video, but I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of it in the near future. Let's move on to number 5. Alright guys, so coming in at number 5, we have a blaster that I actually don't have a ton of hands-on experience with. I've played with it once. I really like the size profile of it, and more than anything, I like that it has some Caliburn-esque vibes where it seems like everybody wants to remix it into a different flavor. Now, I have no idea what the licensing agreements for are on it, and I honestly wish that I had more of a handle on like who the original creator of it is, but I can't credit them because I don't know who it is, and it was a nightmare trying to figure it out because of how many different flavors there are. So, number 5 is the Griffin, and when I say a lot of different flavors, you've got boom, boom, boom. And those are all derivative of the same blaster. Everything from the PVC stock integrations to the overall compact slim profile of it to the Talon dedicated magwells that fire half-lengths. I love everything about this blaster. They're relatively inexpensive to build compared to the BOM for some of the more complicated dedicated flywheelers in this space, and that makes them super duper accessible to one-offs and tweaks and tricks like that. Some of the like different character variants of them are particularly very, very cool in my opinion as well, and I'm really excited to build one. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know which remixed version you think is the coolest, because I'm probably only going to do one, and I'm probably going to do it in resin just to make it extra flavorful and special. That's been something really fun that I've been playing with recently, and it opens up a lot of different opportunities for translucency and ridiculously high resolution micron prints. Just really, really cool stuff. Let's move on to number 4. So number 4 is whatever Orion Blasters is working on right now. No, seriously, it's more or less the Lynx platform or whatever his bullpup Springer style blaster is that has integrated slam fire. Those are 3 really great features that are pretty incredible when slammed all together and make for a very, very nice platform to work with. I have played with one personally while I was out in California land, and I did battle against them at multiple points in the 5v5 Ragnarok Oktoberfest tournament last year, and they were worthy opponents every step of the way. Just really, really cool blasters. The slam fire is an actual usable feature. They're high FPS Springers that have bullpup ergonomics to them. What's not to like? As the design becomes more and more refined, I'm really looking forward to getting one into my workshop, putting it through its paces, taking it to a couple of SE&C games, and having an absolute blast with it. Number 3 is one that I regret not sharing with you guys last time. So while the Spring Thunder has evolved dramatically since this point in its lifetime, and I would love to take a peek at some of the more evolved versions in the near future, the Spring Thunder is an incredibly versatile blaster. The shell loading capability lets you do all of the things that make actual real steel shotguns so modular and cool, while also maintaining like a huge element of fun. It's a tube magazine Springer style shotgun that lets you fire a variety of different shells, a litany of different ammo types, and makes Hasbro stuff look like they were designed by children. It's both reliable and really innovative in how it works, and I'm sure will eventually lead to Hasbro making some sort of tube-fed style shotgun just because of how insanely popular it is and how dynamic and fun it can be. The rail system is a little interesting, but lets you strap all sorts of side saddles to it, sling points, etc., and so forth. Very few other blasters can boast that it's both effective at NIC type game types due to the sniper style shells, which are just single shots out of a Springer plunger tube this massive, as well as being like fun enough for HVZ with shotgun blast shells and rival stuff for indoor play. Just a really cool platform. And when I said shared, I meant that there's a collaboration between Heath Pants, the Desert Pigeon guy, and the Spring Thunder team in the form of the HG type something or other. I checked this one out at Ragnarok. You should be looking at footage of me playing with it right now. Just a really neat lever action, shell actuated, micro compact mare's leg style, like it satisfies all of my Firefly fanboy dreams. It's a really cool blaster, and I hope that collaboration gets to the point that you can start buying those pretty soon, but I know that they're working out some kinks. Turns out getting that accurate and that compact leads to a whole host of difficulties and tricks and refinement there. So good luck to those guys. Can't wait to see it on the market soon. Coming in at number 2 is a surefire include. It is the Hummingbird by Timmy Wynn, or Angasuligiz. Just a fantastic designer with a very consistent sort of design DNA and language across all of his work, from the Saber to the Falcon to some of his very interesting compressed air designs that he's releasing right now. But overall, just a really compact SMG style, dedicated talent. Just ridiculously cool solenoid driven blaster. Gives you mechanical feedback, takes advantage of different AR-15 parts and hardware, which means that you can dress it up or down as ridiculous as you want to get. That world can get very expensive very fast, but an overall compact, dedicated half-length flywheel blaster that's like built to do exactly one thing well, and it really just satisfies that flywheel solenoid itch that so many of us needed to scratch. I am in love with this blaster. It's another one that I had to license because it was so very cool. While the build of materials in this blaster can get quite expensive and has led to them being sort of pricey if you're looking to pick one up, the overall simplicity and ease of use, along with the performance floating up there at 170 FPS, just makes these an absolute dream to use. They're compact when you need them to be, long when you want them to be. They're just a really cool design, and again, like if you're only doing one thing, it's very important to do it exceptionally well, and that's what it does. It's elegant in its design and its simplicity. Hats off to Timmy. I can't wait to check out more of your designs as they progress. Easily one of the most exciting designers in our hobby right now, and just everything that he does is so polished, so cool. And coming in at number 1 is something so distinctively different and so wildly popular that it would be unfair to count it as a Caliburn offshoot. Well, it's definitely Caliburn derivative and shares all of the same design and a lot of the same files with the Caliburn. It's not a Caliburn, it's a compact, almost SBR style Caliburn, and that is the Talonclaw, which is of course a collaboration with Slug and his Caliburn DNA, and Gabriel Glau, who really brought this to market and popularized the heck out of it. It's everything that you love about the Caliburn, but dedicated for half-length, using exclusively Talon mags and delivering pretty much the same level of performance. You lose a little bit of plunger volume and a little bit of spring length, but depending upon how tough you want to be, how hard you want to prime, and what you want to build and tweak and tune in this, it's very easy to get this above 200, 220, 230 FPS, and some people have taken them even further still. Just a really refined design at this point. It's on, I think it's V4 iteration, although I'm personally very partial to the V3 because it's compatible with my tooth and nail, which accomplishes a tremendous amount of reliability and durability in that space. With that said, it also has the tremendous benefit of Slug falling in love with it, so it's benefited from his particular level of neuroses and now has bullpup and U-claw variants and all sorts of different tips and tricks going on in it. It's just really cool that these have become this compact, very useful for competitive Nerf as it's a smaller blaster for bunkering, sliding into cover, and peeking out of cover. It's starting to feel very, very refined in its overall design DNA. I'm not saying that I like it better than the Caliburn. I have quite the wingspan and I like them both for very different reasons, but the talonclaw is just distinctive enough, just popular enough, with hundreds and hundreds of these having been made at this point, that I would have been remiss if I didn't give it its dedicated moment in the sun and spotlight. Just really, really exciting stuff. The Caliburn platform alone is already one of my personal favorites all time. The only thing that bests it is like actual dedicated homemade style blasters, and to have a compact version or a mini version or a Wii is very, very, very cool. And the cross compatibility between different Caliburn parts lets you customize it and dress it up pretty much however you want with whatever features are most important to you. In conclusion, that's just my personal list, guys. If I missed one that you think I should go back and give another look, maybe it'll make it onto the next one, definitely leave me a comment down below. I am well aware of the fact that everybody has perspective bias. Mine tends to lead towards high performance competitive blasters. I like things that are compact. I like things that are cool and unique. And in particular, I really like some of the people behind these blasters, like just a litany of different incredible tinkers and designers that I'm proud to call constituents in the old Nerfing community and hobby. Just a ton of different stuff, and because of the very open nature and sharing of all of these designs and ideas, we just keep iterative designing on one another and making cooler and cooler stuff still. If you'd like to pick up any of these blasters, I will do my very best to link in the description box below. It's going to be darn near impossible to get it perfect, but I will try and link to a relatively exhaustive kind of origin for the blasters that I've listed, as well as like where you can purchase them. In addition, I gotta sneak my own personal plug in there and say that while for years now I have not had publicly available commission work, I have opened up and licensed some of these designs for commissioned work. Full disclosure, the prices are quite high. That's reflective of the immense level of care and tuning and tweaking that goes into making them myself in my workshop here for you. But if you have a powerful hankering in these trying times to support a small business and keep that wish fire burning, it would mean the absolute world to me if you would check out nextlevelnerf.com. It's a very new website. I'm still working out some of the kinks and learning a lot about Shopify as a platform as we go along, but I've been doing a lot of live streams where I'm working on things that people have bought through that website, or just trying new things and tinkering with new designs in and of itself to further the website along as we go. A couple of sneak peeks just as a huge, from the bottom of my undead heart, thank you for watching such a long video and supporting the channel that way. One thing, I'm working on a new Kickstarter-esque project for the Caliburn and talonclaw platform. If everything goes well, it should be an absolute game changer in terms of like consistency and performance and fit and finish, and it should be really, really exciting. I know that a lot of you guys have been asking for something like this for a while, and I think that we've got it licked design-wise. We're prototyping right now, and it should be pretty exciting. And then my final sneak peek is a few members of the SENC, including the exceptionally brilliant Riverbottom Studios and EOC Dragon, have been working on a bullpup solenoid-driven flywheel blaster. We need a new name for it because Slug stole our last name. I'm kidding. It was his before. But we're working on a name for it. We're refining the design down. We've done about a half dozen different iterations across a bunch of different creators. We've been testing it in the SENC, getting a lot of user feedback. And while the focus is certainly on function, and this is not a final version of what we will be making available in the not too distant future, I just want to let you guys know that if you're super into bullpups and compact solenoid-driven performance-based blasters like me, eventually we decided to smash all those things together. We might not be as brilliant as anybody that we've mentioned in this video so far, but it's always exciting to work on something yourself with your friends and take it all the way to its opus. So hopefully that finds its way into a video soon and we get a version that we're like really happy with that's rock solid. But I just want to let you know, if you've caught any of the YouTube live streams, you've seen me messing around with the parts of it. Originally it was codenamed Sarah Salmus, which is of course a piranha, but then Slug made a piranha, so we're working out a new name for it, and comments down below would be exciting in that regard too. But I can't say it enough. Thank you so much for watching this very long video. If you watched an ad, I'm amazed that YouTube's still giving us ads right now in the current advertising climate, but thank you, thank you, thank you. Much love. Design on. Drac out! Shout out to Pat. That's an hour of filming. It's gotta be a mother to edit. Woo.